Mid-size sedans, it's not a great time to be producing them. The manufacturers admit that it's a declining market, crossovers have taken over, but you know, not everybody has given up.
You're right, and if I had $1 for every time I heard someone proclaim that the mid-size sedan segment is dead and crossovers are taking over, I'd probably be able to walk into a Subaru dealer and buy a brand new 2020 Legacy in cash.
Or you could buy a brand new Nissan Altima now with all-wheel drive. And that's what makes this comparison interesting. We have two mid-size sedans, well priced, $35,000 give or take a little bit. Both are all-wheel drive. And at least according to Subaru, I mean, that is the #1 reason why people would buy the Legacy over any other mid-size sedan. It's interesting to see that Nissan has taken a page out of that book and brought out an Altima strictly with all-wheel drive.
Well, let's say we quit talking outside and hop into the Legacy and see what it's got.
Fair enough.
Here we are in the 2020 Subaru Legacy. So obviously it has a handful of nicer touches inside, like leather upholstery and some nice stitched trim on the dashboard.
What I like are the graphics. I love the instrument cluster. It's clean, it's neat, very clear, easy to read. I love the screen, especially for the map.
I'm not completely sold on the execution of the infotainment in the Legacy. Yes, the big screen is crisp, the graphics are sharp, but it is a bit slow to respond to certain input.
There's a delay.
There is a slight delay, that's true. And when you plug in CarPlay, you're sort of limited to a small section of the display. The heated seat controls and the rest of the climate controls are buried in the touchscreen. That's a bit of an oversight. The Legacy does have a roomier back seat than the Altima. It's a bit more headroom and legroom back there. However, the Altima's trunk is just a tiny bit bigger. It's a 2.5-liter boxer 4-cylinder, 182 horsepower, 176 pound-feet of torque, and
continuously variable transmission.
Right.
All pretty much standard Subaru. You can get 2.4-liter turbo. You can upgrade to that. Gives you a substantial boot and power to what, 260? Power is good. It's not great. This is a family sedan. There's no pretense that it is a sports sedan of any sort.
The ride comfort is it honestly surprised me a lot. It's one of my biggest surprises with the Legacy.
I like the steering. The steering is much better in the Legacy. It's got a good feel to it. Nice weight.
It has GPS nav, heated seats, heated front and rear seats, heated steering wheel.
This is a solid proposition for the Canadian market, and not just the Canadian market, the Pacific Northwest, the Northeast, anywhere there's snow. It makes sense.
And here we find ourselves in
2020 Nissan Altima Platinum.
Unlike the Legacy, the Altima is not all new for 2020.
No.
However, it was redesigned last year.
I like the layout of the front here, the dash, instrumentation, the center stack.
The infotainment's pretty easy to use. I feel like the Legacy's infotainment has more visual pizzazz, but I do feel this is a bit more responsive.
User-friendly?
It doesn't lag as much as the Legacy's. There's no delay when you prod the touchscreen.
It is a smaller screen though. It's an 8-inch versus the Legacy has what, 11.6?
Yeah.
Massive screen really.
Like the Legacy, it does have a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder under the hood.
Yeah, inline.
Inline, not a boxer.
Not a boxer, CVT.
CVT, yep. And like the Legacy, it has 182 horsepower.
Strictly all-wheel drive. It's the only way you can get the Altima for 2019 and 2020.
In the States, you can spec Nissan's
Altima with a 2-liter, but it's front-wheel drive only.
Right.
Yeah. This is a front-wheel drive based system. When traction is limited. It sends power to the rear wheels, 50-50. Didn't really notice any transition. It did the job just fine.
Key difference between the Altima and the Legacy's all-wheel drive system. The Legacy's is a 60-40 front-to-rear torque split all the time. It does handle well, but I feel like the Altima does ride a bit harsher than the Legacy.
I don't think it soaks up the bumps as well.
Exactly.
Heated steering wheel, heated front seats, but no heated back seats.
Strangely enough.
Considering it's a family vehicle, I agree.
Yeah.
It's just nice to keep the backseat passengers happy.
When you have the heated steering wheel turned on, the Altima heats the whole wheel. The Legacy only does it at the 9 and 3 position.
That is a huge factor. But is it enough to sway us one way or the other?
Good question. Well, why don't we hop out and talk it over?
Okay. What we have here are two very closely spec'd vehicles. Price-wise, powertrain, size, fuel economy. It really comes down to minor points in picking a winner.
Both cars are, let's call it $35,000. They both have all-wheel drive. They both have 182 horsepower, 4-cylinder engine. You know, the Altima is missing a few key features like heated rear seats, LED taillights, but the Altima is quite good. You know, the 4-cylinder is a little smoother than the Legacy, but the Altima does ride a little harsher. It's not as comfortable as the Subaru, and the interior isn't as well put together.
The Legacy, over 7 generations, it's pretty much focused on one theme with a few variations, and that is just a mid-size sedan, family-oriented, but with all-wheel drive. This is a solid piece of family sedan machinery. This is a good alternative, but ultimately, for me, the Legacy takes it.
The Legacy still misses a few details. Yes, on the road, it's a lot more comfortable, and the rear seat is roomier. My biggest complaint with the Legacy is the infotainment system. I'm pretty sure I've made my qualms with it clear, but it's a significant departure over the simplicity, over the no-frills layouts we're used to from previous generations. If you can get over that detail, then yes, I will concede that the Legacy is a solid bet for a mid-size sedan.
Two good mid-size all-wheel drive sedans. We're giving our vote to the Legacy. By points, it's not a complete knockout. The Legacy is the better all-wheel drive sedan. For Driving.ca, I'm Brian Harper.
And I'm Nick Trejanis. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe and tell us what we should compare next.